Hey guys, this is an impromptu little version of my Aussie local and live. I wasn't intending to do a little show tonight, but I'm going to share a song with you, if that's okay. And look, it's one of my songs I wrote through COVID. Um, when I started doing my local Aussie local and live shows, I made a commitment to myself that I didn't want to get political because during COVID time in my little inner circle, I did certainly got very vocal about what was going on in my industry and people around me. And I thought with this little thing I'm doing, podcast I'm doing, I just want to really focus on Aussie stories, the positive things that happen in our community, our music industry, our arts sectors, and all that stuff. And I'm sticking to that. So I'm not getting political tonight in the sense of taking one side or another. But obviously, Australia's gone through a very traumatic thing over the last few days, and this time it's a bit different from things we've had in the past. So the song I'm going to share tonight is a song I wrote during the COVID time called History's Pages. Now, during that time, I wrote two specific songs about what was going on. This one was I wrote early in the piece. It was when we didn't know what was going on. We knew that there were lockdowns happening around the world very quickly. And to me, it was like, obviously, there was something going on because all the intelligence services obviously said stuff to their governments and everyone acted as once. And we didn't know what was happening. We just all followed suit. And quite honestly, I was expecting people to be falling over in the streets and collapsing and all that stuff. And I wrote History's Pages about my thoughts at that time, which was, first of all, looking at what was going on at that time where we were locking down playgrounds, schools were being closed, you couldn't go to the beach, all those things. And in the second verse, I look at things that our country's gone through before, like with the Anzacs going to war. They were kids, they went over there and they were really abused pretty much by the British military. And they had to fight things like the Spanish flu. They came back very, very, very affected by what they went through. But out of that, we kind of built an Aussie spirit. And my song was also written in a time because just before COVID, we had fires happening here in Australia. We had the drought, all those things in our regional areas were going through. And my message in this song was, even though all these things happen, we can look at our past and look at what's happened with the Anzacs and people in our history, and we build our spirit out of that, and we can be better. We can take that on board. We're strong enough to do that, and we can be better. The second song I wrote through that time was towards the end of COVID, where I just got sick and tired of what was going on with the way my industry was utilised and abused and how so many people were forced into doing things. And that song was called Fear No More. And I might do something about that later on. But History's Pages, in the chorus, it's like the song's called History's Pages, but the catch line is actually Advance Australia Where, taken from our national anthem, of course. And I just think that's relevant at the moment. Now, in the past, we've had terrible things happen here. We've had different mass shootings before. We've had terrible things happen. But it's always been a localized issue. We'll get news coverage around the world, but it would always kind of become an Australian thing for us to sort out. This one's different because we've been caught up in an international situation that's not going to go away. And I'm not going to comment one way or another about the entities involved because there's actually many entities involved at the moment. And what I saw through COVID was that Australia was used as a bit of a test ground. Well, not just Australia, I think it was all Five Eyes nations really were used as a test ground of how governments could act, what laws they could bring in, how the media could be used to manipulate perceptions of the public. And we kind of that was the first time that really showed to me that Australia, being isolated down here by these wonderful oceans around us, we are a good place to do testing. Now, I'm not saying that's anything behind what's happened the other couple of days, but I do think all entities involved are going to try and manipulate who we are as a nation. All sides are going to try and divide us. You got the media on one side, and the other side are going to push different narratives. I'm worried how this is going to be used by politicians to bring in laws to um, have more control over the population. And it's not going to go away. In the past, things have gone away. This time, it's going to be an international thing that's going to keep going. And we've been caught up in that international thing. Now, as an Aussie, if I'm going to say anything politically, it is that I believe in our country. I believe in the Australian human rights law, or our our bill of what they have in America. Where they have things that protect who you are as a people. We don't have that officially, but we do unofficially. I think most of us believe that you look after your mates. First of all, you look after your family. That you don't really care where someone comes from. I think 97% of people are good people from all sides. I really believe that. I think there are a small number of people who are assholes. And in Australia, we've always had the feeling if you're a good bloke, we don't care what colour your skin is, what your religion is, whatever else. If you're a good bloke and you want to become part of our community, happy days. If you're someone who's just going to come here and bring your trouble to us, we're really not that interested in that side of it. And I think those are really important points to hang on to. The other political thing I'd probably say when it comes to immigration, we're all immigrants here. Even our Indigenous people, they came from the Garden of Eden lands and came to Australia, and then convicts came here, and people after the war came here, and everything else. And it was always really hard for the first generation. Second generation, we've always found the kids become Aussies. I would love to see new immigrants coming to Australia, spending a number of years in our regional and country towns first, getting away from being confined into their particular group, so they get to experience the magic that is being an Aussie. Have Aussie friends, take on the culture, get away from the fear that you've run away from, and become part of who we are. I would like to see that happen. So that's as political as I'm going to get. And that you can disagree with me. I'm not trying to sell you my message. That's just my thoughts. You have your own thoughts. And that's what we should do as Aussies. You're allowed to have your own thoughts. But I wanted to share this song just because I think for the first time ever, Australians really need to think hard about what they want our country to be, where we're going to go, what we want it for our kids, and how do we play our part in our world there. Now, we do have the advantage of being quite isolated down here. The rest of the world is trying to suck us into their bullshit. We need to say, no, we are who we are. If you want to be part of who we are, be a part of it. Love it. Your kids will become Aussies and they'll be playing footy and having barbecues and all that stuff. And that's what we want. It's like being there for each other. So anyway, this song's called History's Pages. If you get a chance to share it with you, or if you like what it says, please share it with your friends. The late, great Ted Seymour, who was one of the founders of Triple M radio station in Brisbane. Late in his life, he was working down at Bay FM, down near Cleveland Way. And Ted thought this was the most Triple M song he'd heard. In this day and age, major radio will never play an indie artist songs. It's just not going to happen. The only way these things get some coverage is if people share them around. So if you like it, share it around and hopefully visit my website. Please subscribe to my YouTube Aussie Local and Live page. I'm going to keep doing episodes. As I said, I'm not going to get political. And, if you've got opinions that you want to share, if they're polite, please share them. If they're not polite, well, I'll just be getting rid of you, dude. I don't want to go down that dark road there, because my only concern is for Australia and for Australians. And that's, when I say Australians, that's a really wide mix of people. If you want to be an Aussie, I think all of us came here from somewhere in many ways. What's true, we all did. This land loves us. We love this land, and we've got to love each other. And we've got to not let the rest of the world try and fuck us up. Okay? So that's my thoughts there. Here's my song, History's Pages. Hope you enjoy it, guys. And I'll be doing, check out, got an episode just done with Keith Banks, who was one of Queensland's most decorated police officers. I've got one coming up very soon. I'm putting out with the amazing Tyrone Noonan, good mate, who I really respect what Ty's done with his music, and heaps of more episodes to come. But anyway, here's my song, History's Pages.
Parks are all closed, locked up in chains. No children's laughter restrains, silence reigns. No school bells ringing, footsteps in the halls. No choir singing, there's no chasing balls. Politicians are acting quite civil these days. Not kissing babies or stomping on graves. Australia sails on tacking into the wind. Not sure what tomorrow will bring. And from history's pages, our former stages battled through hard times before. Yeah, they suffered losses, implanted crosses, then dragged themselves off the floor. So the young and the free, all good by the sea, and inspired by what came before, can look at the sky with big open eyes, knowing that we can be more. For people who care, there's a future to share. Advance Australia where? In 1918, the Anzacs sailed home, too tired for glory, too many alone. Having faced war, then facing disease, a terror before that we'd never seen. Oh yes, it's true, we've been here before, and our country spirit was built through it all. We carried the wounded to safe a high ground, walked through the storm and we found that from history's pages, our former stages battled through hard times before. Yeah, they suffered losses, implanted crosses, then dragged themselves off the floor. So the young and the free, all good by the sea, and inspired by what came before, can look at the sky with big open eyes, knowing that we can be more. For people who care, there's a future to share. Advance Australia where? Once my Matilda or head to Bow River, or get lost at Circular Quay. If this sunburned country arises from something I never dreamed I would see, will you hold me tonight as the easterly blows? Stars come alive and the Southern Cross glows, and dreamtime is calling us back to a place where we knew our souls were free. Seagulls are skimming low over waves. Rain is now falling on dry, dusty plains, with people still wiping smoke from their eyes. Nature is cleaning up big open skies to turn off the darkness, turn off the pain. After the drought there'll always be rain. Another day comes with a new rising sun, and we run towards what we